was the only place I had any sort of privacy when I was in college was the shower.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. We've just informed Nick Scarpino that universities frequently tell people not to jerk off in the shower.
I think I owe the
semen isn't water soluble.
I think I owe UC Irvine a lot of money.
Now, here's my question: is I understand we are the generation of misinformation. Have you seen this confirmed anywhere other than just the funny little meme thing where it's like a printed thing in a boy's bathroom of like, don't jerk off in the shower? Have you ever seen this? Have we done the research to find out if cum is water soluble?
That's, you know what? That's a good question because I've only seen that. I've kind of just based it off that.
I feel like this is what the Patreon supporters and the live chat are for. Like, aren't we supposed to activate them right now so they could Google search this? Actually, if you guys are in college, go try it for us. Let us know what this.
Because I've seen the thing you're talking about.
Yeah, where they're like, hey, there are massive repairs going to be needed for our plumbing
For your cum?
because it doesn't just easily go down the drain and it builds up and it causes like
But, so
clogging.
That seems like so much would be necessary.
Like,
But
how
think
many-
of,
are you
think of
cum in
all
buckets?
the dudes in a restroom that can't crank it because they have roommates. So they crank it in the shower. Like,
we are depraved as
Here
a
we go,
people.
ladies and gentlemen. We're here. All right. We join an article in progress at slate.com.
Where else are you supposed to crank it?
The now, slate.com. Thank you for saving death, sex, and money, of course.
Oh, yeah.
This is Suzanne Monyak, September 2016. Can masturbating college freshmen actually clog a shower drain? And then Google with his little highlight text went down here. It's also possible that semen simply feels like it's stickier in the shower because it's being compared with water. Either way, you can see why a freshman guy who perhaps masturbated while bathing might notice stickier semen and worry about the dorm bathroom mornings. But can semen sticky or otherwise clog a drain? Nope, it cannot.
oh wow,
We got to the bottom of this,
So I
everybody.
was-
Keep
so
jerking
I
off
was
wherever
like-
you want.
I was lied to all those memes.
Now,
So shower masturbators, it looks like you're in the clear is how this article ends.
shoot some knuckle rockets. Let's go.
That's all about. Oh, there it is, right? That's what we're talking about. Right?
Yeah,
Knuckle
Yeah.
rockets.
Andy, you said something that is like similar to what Nick says last week, and it stuck with me, and I
What'd he
haven't
say?
stopped thinking about it. Greg was talking about DC villains, and Deathstroke came up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I forgot exactly what you said, but you like that's what I call
that's
the
my
final
final crank.
Which like
It was really good.
it's just so
It was
insane
real,
because
real
Deathstroke,
good.
it's like, okay, cool. That already sounds like a funny, like that could have been the punchline.
Yeah.
You took it one further.
Oh my God.
And like the last crank is just like,
yeah, the final crank, the last one you do.
See,
That's the one that like takes you out.
I
that
feel
true?
like that sign was just more being like, hey, we need a PC way to tell people to not spooge all over the floor. And I feel like this
Sure.
is a way of saying, hey guys, this is not cool, but what that sign
I also
should
don't
read is,
believe,
hey, it's gross.
is that a real thing? That looks like something I would have made and put up in college. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I don't
You're
know.
just
I
fucking
mean,
with the other kids in the dorm.
Look, the reason I believe it is the underlined text at the bottom and the italicized text at the very, very bottom.
Sure,
That
sure.
looks so legitimate.
Please see your RA with any questions.
What are you going to ask your RA?
We're going to jack off now.
I love the word
supposed to do?
excessive in excessive amounts of semen.
Excessive
You know?
amounts of semen.
They could have just said the
the
amounts of semen in the drain cost.
So
acids. No.
Timmy
what we
think
have
they're
here
holding
is
out
this
for a
is
week before they-
I want to read it, Kevin. Top of the University of Amherst. Masturbation notice. Masturbation in the showers is a violation of the University of Massachusetts Housing Code, which I believe. But then this part in bold. The shower drains are not designed to handle semen, end bold. The excessive amounts of semen in the drains cost thousands of dollars in
Technically, it's
maintenance and
seminal
must be
fluid, right?
reflected in housing price increases for next year. It's your money. Then, underlined, please masturbate in your own room. Then in italics, please see your RA with any questions. Thank you for your cooperation.
It seems
But
real
I
to me.
agree that I saw that, didn't think much of it, and moved on.
I saw it and just thought that was fact.
Now I'm blasting in my shower.
got-
I'm like, well, there's fucking $1,000 coming up eventually.
Now you're gunking
Does
it
that make
up.
it? Does it make it better?
Because it's wrong. Of course, that shower masturbator over there is the producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Woo! You never know these days, right?
You never know.
There was a sign going around in San Francisco. Someone's like, "This is how liberal San Francisco's gotten," right? Where it was like a $950 like steal under $950 sign, and everyone's like was getting pissed off on Twitter, and then one dude's like, "That's fake. That's not. People didn't put that
yeah,
up.
nobody
You
looks
got
at
to
it.
double check everything, folks. There are no signs that say that in San Francisco.
Nobody knows anymore. You know what I mean? What's
Also,
real
is
news
it
and what's
now?
fake
This is a
news?
science. This is a science for
Science with Kev. It's semen.
Is it semen, or the semen's the fluid, right? Or is it seminal fluid?
Or is the seminal film?
Is the semen the swimmers, or are those just sperm? I thought the semen were always little guys, and then the fluid itself is what's gunking it up, right?
Kevin?
I'm pretty sure the semen is everything.
That's everything?
It's
So
all
that's a term we can
encompassing.
use for that?
Compassing.
That's for the full vessel?
Come pissing.
That's the first time. That might be the first time.
Semen is the grayish white body fluid secreted by the gonads of
Okay.
male animals.
So I guess semen is not the
So semen is the fluid.
let's talk
or-
about
Say
it.
it like Adam Sandler.
When Socrates and Da Vinci were
Semen is
around
better.
coming up
I'm
with
going
words, when they were coming up with words, they made a bunch of dumb ones. Gonads, one of the best.
It's
man.
good.
I want
It's good.
to throw out that was the first time, maybe in kind of funny history, that I threw to Kevin for a question, and he was like, "Oof,
I'm not answering
I
this
don't
one.
want to answer this.
I'm about
I
to
don't
be
want
a
to be a part of this
father.
at all."
Father.
Well, he knows how it works then.
The gonads.
The gonad.
Oh, shabba-da-hoo.
Knuckle
Did
rockets all
that
better.
break or?
Fell out.
Kevin, Greg's mic.
I'm back, everybody. They
It's-
can't silence me.
Yeah, first off, it's great to be back on the podcast, everybody.
He's the Hispanic heartthrob Texas Street Latino heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds. The globe-trotting, head-shotting, rootin', tootin', three-point shooting. Nitro rifle from Twitch.tv. Andy Cortez.
I know there's a lot of crazy news that happened over the weekend, but I would love it if this thumbnail was just like a picture of me and it was like Andy returns to kind of funny, or like because I haven't been on the podcast in about 2 months,
With
maybe
that sign.
2.5 months.
I see. I thought you were gonna go somewhere different with it. I thought it was gonna be just picture you like this, just with way too much semen around you. And you're like, it's too much semen?
little Andy faces on all the sperm.
The
going
the
around.
white border kind
Yeah,
of dripping.
yeah. Oh,
you know?
Yeah, I love it. Do it.
I might.
Well, the three of us got together beforehand. We're like, what topic do we want to talk about today for Andy's triumphant return to the podcast? We're like, should we talk about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump or jerking it off in the
Cranking it in the
in the
shower.
shower? And we just decided we'll go with the,
That-
we'll go with the
I
positive
wish
one.
it's
Hot
almost
D.
like I wish we had a newspaper rather than just the thumbnail, because it would be a headline: Andy returns to the podcast, and then below the foot, like, also Trump shot.
Like the little like subheader. Yeah.
Also, feel free to come in the shower. It's totally okay.
Yeah, the one back, the redaction on the next page is like, turns out it was fake the whole time. You can blow wherever you want.
It's me on a debate stage with like a word bubble. It's like coming in the shower is okay. And it's just like me like
me wrong.
vote for me. Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, there's more clickbaity, right? Of like,
Oh.
should you
we're
stop coming in the shower? Can you come in the shower? You know what I mean? Question mark.
Can
the,
you?
The answer might shock you.
Right.
And then it's just,
May
yeah.
you?
May you?
Are
then,
you?
then it's like that one like op-ed piece about the guy that doesn't like coming in the shower. He likes coming in the toilet instead. You know, it's like,
Oh.
oh, that's cool. How do you get that?
How do you? What do you mean? How do you?
I don't know. I was just trying to vibe with you guys.
okay.
It didn't work out.
I appreciate the attempt.
You know.
Andy, where have you been? You've been so gone, but why have you been gone?
Gone girl. Gone Andy. Gone guy.
Like honestly, it's just kind of the way the schedules work out. We always try to have a limit on the shows that we're doing, just because there'd be times where I would be on a stream and then I would pop
Joey.
in the podcast and I would just be so freaking tired because I've been yelling for 3 hours in Elden Ring with the guys, and it just kind of worked out that with the new schedule we've been doing, I'd have Gamescasts and then I would have the stream right after, and I'd be like, hey guys, I'm kind of at that limit. I'm going to go ahead and call this one off. And we just had enough of those streams where I was needed more on the streams than I was on the podcast. Yeah. And that just kept on happening. Like every day was like, all right, it's either Pokemon or we're doing the Elden Ring co-op. We can't do that without Andy. So I need to be on that stream. And and then I was back home in the RGV. We don't play no games.
Play no games.
It's just kind of been a compounding thing. Or I was in LA for a thing or whatever. Like, it's happened a lot.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Happy to have you.
So for you, Nick, yeah, Joey Noel's comment live of maybe this is an episode I skip was funny.
Yeah.
Lexi G's double down on your toilet jerking off with, it just says no aim assist. It's pretty good.
Well, I'm anti-aim assist.
I know.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing in the PC community right now.
I'm aware it is.
More.
Yeah, in the community now.
Yeah. Well, for a while we stayed silent, but now I'm like I'm leading the charge. Either give us aim assist or take it out of the game completely.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I have the balls to say it.
Why don't you play on controller then?
Oh, I tried.
I know,
You were
it's
here
so
that
hard.
week. You were gone
It's
that
so
week.
hard,
It's
yeah.
so hard.
Yeah, I know.
And then Kevin made fun of me a lot. No, I don't want to do it anymore.
You want to use your left stick more than your right stick. You know that?
No. Why?
You use your left stick to move left
Oh,
and
to
right.
do this to get
and
the aim
that,
assist?
And that adds
Yeah,
the aim
I-
assist. if you're aiming a lot with the right thumb
No.
stick.
See, I saw a guy that
Big
was
mistake.
like, you don't go left and right anymore. Now you do like little circles.
yeah.
You do a little circle thing.
Yeah. That's the way Call of Duty people get their auto aim, and it's like I fucking died to a guy who's playing on a 68-inch LG at home. Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
That was Mike. It buried him.
His third TV he just bought.
Yeah, his third
Jesus
TV.
Christ. You see the picture of him driving that thing home?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
He's an innovator.
Mike just told me a story that I'm gonna tell you because I hate him so.
Of course,
so
that
very
voice
much.
is Forbes 30 under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the married one, at Tim Geddes.
So Mike grabs. He's like, Tim, you'd be proud of me. Okay, you wouldn't be proud of me. And I'm like, oh, here we go, roller coaster time. He goes, yeah. So football came out. Got to buy a TV because I up in Tahoe
He's
don't
talking
have
about,
a
of
TV.
course, show some respect. EA College Football 25. Our codes for review came in on Friday. Embargo today. We've been playing. We'll have a games cast tomorrow and our tailgate tomorrow. Tuesday.
Him and his boys didn't have enough room for him, the boys, and the TV. So Mike laid under the TV to get it home. But before they even got it in the car, he went to, I don't know where he went, but he
Random
went
Best
somewhere,
Buy.
a Best Buy, let's say, in Tahoe. And he goes to buy it, and he's like, all right, there's 3 TVs. They're all 65 inches. They're $50 apart, is what he said to me.
Yeah.
What that actually means, I'm not sure.
Probably
Does
a
that
lot.
up to 100 when you look it up
No.
between the lowest and highest? Or
He
I'm
saw
not so
5.
sure.
He just assumed it was $50, but it could be $5,000 apart. For all
There
he
is
knows.
no Best Buy in Tahoe, so he has to go to Carson
I think
City.
it was Carson City,
which is
Nevada,
a
yeah.
40-minute drive if you're gunning it. So
He's got
40
problems.
minutes. 40 minutes he was
A
under.
lot
Carson
of
City.
play here, but the reason he was telling me this story is he was like, Tim, you'd be proud of me because there was 3 that were equally like $50 apart, whatever. There was a Vizio, a Samsung, and an LG, and he's like, I know you love the LG. You told me to get the LG. In my mind, I start panicking already.
You're
I'm
like,
Mike,
I don't
I'm not
just love LG.
telling you to
Yeah.
get LG.
Yeah,
Like that is
exactly.
so not the message, but that's what you heard. Whatever. I appreciate you that you at least kind of listen and you
listens.
remember the letters. You know what I mean? And he goes, cool. So we asked them for the LG, and this poor woman goes back, and it's so dark. There was some problem with the lights.
Power was
Power's
out.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't know
power
how
is
they
out.
sell in TVs with no power.
I don't know. But Mike gets her to go back and look for the things, and she can't find. She has to get some help. Mike offers to go help them, and I'm like, Mike, you don't work there. This isn't how that. You don't just get
Mike
to
said,
do
I'll go
that."
back there with you. And she goes, no, you can't do that, sir.
So then he ends up. They get a second young woman to go help, assist. One's eyes, one's hands. I'm not so sure how it works, but they come out holding a giant Samsung TV, and Mike just says, "Okay, fine," and just takes it. And it's just like. So, Mike, why'd you tell me this story?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He wanted you to know he tried.
Oh,
tried,
yes,
Ken.
yes, he did try. He
He didn't try in so much as he reached out to you and said, hey, what model should I buy?
Yeah.
He didn't try as so much as like
Listen,
actually
this was a
pre-planned this.
weekend TV. He returned it, right?
There's not a chance in fuck. He drove it back to Carson.
No, there's
He's
no
like,
way.
so I bought a big TV. I was like, it was probably 720p. I was like, honestly, Mike, I could have sold you a poster board with an image on it. You would have bought it. It just you can't see it. It just
Well, then I was
here's
like,
$800, sir.
I was like, did you not have a TV there to begin with up in the mountain cabin or whatever? And he goes, no, we have one. He goes, but it was Martin Farton's TV. I didn't like it.
Martin
I don't like it. It's
Farton.
not good enough.
Martin Farton.
Yeah.
Is that a real Snowbike Mike name, or
Yes,
we're making
no,
fun
it's
of
A
him?
real-
real ass one of his names. Yeah.
a real friend of Sunback Mike's, Martin
Yep.
Farton.
Not Farton, Martin.
No, we don't like
Farton.
Martin Farton's TV.
Yeah.
Listen, you got to respect he didn't like it. He went and did it.
Mike's
You
a
want to
man
know
of
who I
action.
really blame for this?
Yeah.
Rahul.
Yeah. Why?
Did you see a Rahul story on Instagram recently?
No.
He was like, one of the things he does like for himself is that when he goes on these jobs and he's off on the location shooting a show or whatever,
Just buys a badass
he'll buy
TV.
he'll buy a bad. He's like, this is my one treat. I buy the TV so I can play the games that look great, and then he's like, I always give it to I want to say deck, but that's not
PA
right.
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody working on the production or whatever that lives in the area,
That-
which is very nice. And you understand Rahul makes a lot more money than Mike.
Sure.
So that makes sense, and that's a good investment for Rahul when he's up there for weeks on end.
Now, do
playing.
you think
when
that-
Mike went away
Yeah.
for 2 nights, maybe just not, maybe you know what I mean? Like, and I don't even know how. Like,
Well, okay, so I think the dad. I think Big Mike stays in the cabin from time to time. I think people come and visit the cabin.
so Martin Farton brought his TV to the cabin.
yeah, but Martin Farton gave him the TV like years ago.
Yeah,
I think
years
this is like
and
a
years and years
720p, maybe 32-inch TV.
This
that
feels like
Mike's dealing
this
with.
feels like one of those 1080p
sounds
where
like a
the
great
bezel's like
investment.
2 inches thick.
I think so. I mean, I don't think we're questioning whether or not Mike needed a new TV. I think it's just in theory that's good. I think it's just the practice of how he went about gathering that TV for himself.
It's a
that
win-
is such a Snowbike Mike.
It's
thing.
a win that he saw he needed a new one. Is what like I take
Yeah,
that as a
That's
personal
a step
win for
forward.
us.
Yeah, step forward.
He was able to assess I need a new television here, and that's
Sure.
awesome.
Now, do you think
Great.
that dialing it back to talk shit about Rahul, do you think that he just doesn't want to move the TV? And so he says, hey, PA, come take this TV. It's yours if you can get out of this apartment. And
I
then
imagine
the
that
PA
has a
comes
lot to
there,
do with it.
and they have
Well,
to like,
yeah, I mean, he's traveling back home. Like, what's he gonna do with this TV?
what's the PA? I mean, the PA's got to get in there, right?
I mean, he lives there.
I like to imagine it's like
TV's
do you
way
remember
nothing
when,
now.
Remember when Rodney Dangerfield moved into that apartment? You'll remember the story.
Back to
It's
school.
great.
I'll never get any
This
TVs.
story.
You remember the story? He moved in. He pissed off all his neighbors because he wanted to get a hot tub, but he had to take the glass out of his like penthouse to
No,
put it in. So they had to
no.
crane the hot tub in. They can never get that out. I
Oh.
imagine that's what we're dealing with.
This is a
here with
real
Rahul.
story. This wasn't in a movie.
100%. Yeah,
Wow.
you remember?
I don't remember that, but I like it. Why don't do the like? Don't no. Put your tongue back in your mouth. Don't
I
lick your lips like
don't,
it.
I don't blame Rahul for like putting that on somebody else. I think that's a great little treat for
That's a
somebody
great.
out
I
there.
fucking love that. You know.
I'm
what
just
I
saying,
mean?
do you think he has it delivered to the kid, or do you think the kid has to come pick it up with one of his jabroni friends?
I think the kid's there and put it in the back
You
seat.
live in fucking town. It's a TV. It weighs nothing.
I don't think he's buying like an 80-inch. I think he's buying
Yeah, I
probably
don't
like a
think it's-
40-something,
yeah, yeah.
50-inch or whatever. Put it in the back seat.
I mean, they only sell 65 inches. I mean, I'm just saying, this kid's.
It's one of those situations
Nick,
where
I love how Nick's trying to spin this very nice gesture into something bad.
I'm trying to get you guys to talk shit, and have fun right now, but you won't do it because you respect Rahul so much.
it's one of those situations where if you're a kid who's being given a really nice big TV, you don't.
You don't
Like
look
if
a-
somebody
you don't
gives
look
you
a
a
gift
car,
horse
you're
in the
like,
mouth.
well, I got to get a friend and inconvenience them to come pick this up because this is really cool. Yeah, like you would.
Listen, I understand you guys are talking pragmatically, but
Yeah.
you've all let me down. I thought we were going to talk shit. I thought we were going to talk some shit and have some fun real quick.
What do you mean to let you
But
down?
obviously, he's doing something cool.
I'm sorry.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know
but
he did that. That's
obviously.
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's a
see
good
his story.
I like his stories.
He's got good stories.
Yeah, good story. He's always funny.
They're sad
Rahul's
about.
great.
They're sad about soccer.
Yeah, I never
Oh,
understand
yeah.
that
We're
shit.
sad about soccer.
I wish them well.
England lost.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
But it's like two different tournaments, which I don't.
Don't even
fully-
get me started
Yeah.
at soccer. You know what I mean?
It's like, how can you have 4 Super Bowls? That doesn't make any
You
sense.
see all these people climbing in the vent to get into soccer?
Crazy. Did you see this,
Insane.
Tim?
The
So
Cabo,
they-
it's the Cabo
So they
Cola
had the Copa America
Uh-huh.
in Miami, and at Hard Rock Stadium, and way too many people were there that should have been there. So there's a lot of people that were outside that were trying to get in, and then they started like forcing their way in, and then we saw people climbing into air vents.
Die Hard style.
To-
To
Solid,
try to
but okay.
climb. And I like what is success for that situation? Like, what do they deem as like
thrill
you got to hit like an end point though, right?
in the vent.
Well, I mean, the idea, I guess, was that, I mean, Mike showed me the clip. Well, he showed me the clip. He didn't show.
I'm tossing the
He
clip
didn't
into
show.
Again,
Asset.
The Twitch stream in the clip.
they were doing a Twitch reaction stream to where they were watching clips without showing it to anybody.
Don't say they. Like, I had a hand in making this choice.
Nick thought it was being shown to everybody.
I thought we were having a great time like Internet Explorers. 35 minutes in, Mike's like, oh, I'm not. This is just for you and me.
nobody's seeing the clips.
Here
But
we
it's
go.
wild.
Look at them
this is
breaking in.
wild.
They're breaking into
What
this
is
thing.
going on here? People are getting into the Copa America.
people are all
through
gonna
the
get stuck in there?
ventilation
Hell
system?
no. They're like solid.
I did not think the
snake.
vents could hold people.
Yeah,
Pretty
somebody. I saw
impressive.
somebody commenting that they're lucky nobody died.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
those
man.
things are
Just
not.
collapsing
It's not
or whatever.
load bearing for hundreds of pounds of weight.
No,
Do you
no,
think there's still
Those
people
are
in there?
aluminum vents. Yeah,
I mean, I
probably.
wouldn't leave if I was in. Feast on pretzels. You know what I mean? I assume they sell pretzels. There.
Pretzels
They
and
call you- they call you
rats.
the vent boy.
They call me the vent
been
boy.
here for years.
Remember
Did you see-
Bat Boy? What an easier time it was to be alive back
was.
when
We
Weekly
all got
World
together.
News was rocking the world.
Did you see the lady that went around and interviewed people about how much they spent on those tickets?
No, I heard about it.
Yeah,
From
one guy was like
NQ.
15 grand I spent, and
Didn't
he
even
couldn't
get
get in.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, thousands of people, thousands of dollars. They're like they won't let me in, and they legitimately bought tickets for the event. No,
I mean, as Taylor Swift said, you know, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. All right, you want to go like a dumb sport like soccer.
go play some fucking pickleball.
You know
what are you doing with
And
that?
not only is soccer dumb, they then have the balls to call it football and try to take football from us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We're the one using our feet more. You know,
It's well, I know it's just it was no.
Mm.
It's like when you.
we're not going down that path.
I mean, how do you, how do you start a game, Andy? How do you start a game?
You gotta kick it.
Kick off.
You gotta kick off.
So it's like, you know, it's the most important thing.
the foot starts.
You're
the ball.
right. It can't start. You can't start the game without it. You're
I mean,
right.
like
Why don't
back
you
in the
call
day,
your
remember
sport headball?
XFL when we used to get, you know, run to the ball,
Oh my gosh.
breaking collarbones left and right. That was a
I
waste
mean,
of
they
time.
didn't fight for the fumble, man.
Smash mouth football.
Hmm.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each come to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. If you want to talk with us, the best way is to be in the chat live as we record the show. Everybody in there is a Kind of Funny member. What they did is they went to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or patreon.com/kindoffunny. And they gave us some money. $10 it is, to get each and every one of our shows ad-free, to get the ability to watch us record the podcast live as you record it in the afternoon, and of course, the daily multimedia podcast experience. By the way, right here is where I remembered I didn't do a Greg Way for the day yet. Greg Way. Man, the schedule moved around a lot today. It was hectic. Captain America got put in there and stuff. Okay, I'll get it done, dude. I'll get it done today. Don't worry. Tell Cool Greg he's got to do it late.
Okay, yeah.
Don't give me the attitude. All right, fucking make it happen.
The
All right?
cool Greg.
Cool, Greg. Yeah, you know what I mean. Of course, if you have no bucks toss our way, no big deal. You can get a new episode of the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week, usually Tuesday, on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and help us keep the lights and mics on for this 11-person small business we love so much. Just like our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Nathan Lamoth, Alex J. Sandoval, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew. Today we're brought to you by Harry's and kindoffunny.com/store and the new line of Portillo merch.
Ooh.
But I digress.
Oh, it's sold out.
The book sold out. Insane
So cool.
response, everybody.
Y'all
if
are
you
the
didn't
best.
see.
Incredible.
We announced Portillo. Portillo Wiener Dog thinks he's a manatee. The book I had written and put out the PDF of after Porty passed away 2 years ago. And then, of course, Josh Strickland came along and drew it. A couple friends from across the pond said we could help you publish this book into a real book. And so today we announced, hey, we have a book. It's available right now at kindoffunny.com/store. And then it's sold out in a couple hours, which is ridiculous.
We're not
Thank you.
expecting that.
If you didn't see the book there, as you can see on kindoffunny.com/store, head over there and please, if you want it, click on it and say notify. If we get enough, we'll do another run of people who want the hardcover book. But of course, the t-shirt, the multicolor t-shirt, the sweatshirt that I'm wearing, the hat that's Nick's wearing, they're all out there.
They're all there.
Right now,
And they're really high quality and nice. I like the sweater a lot with the embroidered. Porty,
Feel it.
it's good.
Feel it. Oh,
And if you want compliments, buy this merch. Anytime I wear it, compliments out the wazoo. It's a true story.
I'll tell you what, I put together the pictures for this too. Tim, you take a good picture.
Thank you.
You take a
Appreciate
good-ass
that.
picture.
We're all looking good. I like
Yeah,
this.
look at that.
Roger
look at that
took the
award-winning
picture.
smile, right?
Roger
Yeah.
got the chops when it comes to the shots.
He does, man. He's trained up well.
Roll Tide says, can you see how many copies the first run was? It went super fast. Just south of 300 is what we did out there.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere close to 260-ish.
Yeah. Remember, we're an 11-person small business, and books are expensive. And we didn't need a bunch of those sitting around not doing anything. So again, click the notify button.
Yeah.
And then we'll notify if
And
we have
thank you
more.
for your patience on that. If you guys wanted one, we'll try to get you one.
And then New York Times bestseller. That's
Yeah, I
the
think we
goal.
gotta get a real books. We gotta get a real. If you know somebody like Simon and Schuster or whatever, show them the book. You know what I mean? Because you gotta get a literary agent.
need a
You gotta
whole
do
bunch
this
of
thing.
I'll be
and
your
stuff. I ain't
agent.
got time for it. It's all set to go. Who wants it?
I'll be your agent, and we go to Penguin Books. Why? Because I like penguins.
I do like Penguin
I
books.
was at
I
the
mean,
Penguin
Chronicle books are right downtown.
What if we went to what's the big bookstore?
Barnes and Noble,
No, not that one. One of the San Francisco
library.
bookstore. That's
Green
like-
Apple?
Green
yeah,
Apple,
Green Apple. We just walk into their headquarters. Demand that
just
someone
over
take a
in
look.
the Richmond,
Yeah, I think so.
just the bookstore.
the bookstore.
All right, yeah,
Talk about weird little
What if we took?
Jester
Here's
guy.
what we do. We print out like 2,000 more of these things.
See, now
right?
you're well, yeah, the
sell
margins.
5 more, of
Okay,
course,
shit,
because that's
fuck.
kind of funny logic.
Yeah,
that's what
that's
we'll
how
end
it would
up doing.
normally go, yeah,
Take
yeah.
the rest of them,
Burn 'em.
and we just walk over to the Books Inc., put them down, put up our own little placard with a Venmo, and say, "On your honor system, Venmo us this."
I like that.
Yeah,
Rely on the kindness of others.
yeah, and we come back a week later, they're all still there.
People
No,
put
the book
other
is-
books on top of them.
Here's the thing: I'll say the book is very, very, very cool. It's very well done. You did a great job writing it. Josh Strickland did a great
Amazing
job
illustrating it.
I hadn't really. I'm late to the game on this. I was just kind of helping Joey kind of put it together and get it out the door. And flipping through it to take pictures and looking through it now, it's really cool. Josh is a really, really talented artist.
Very talented.
Very, very cool. So yeah,
Logan in the chat says, any chance of getting Greg to read the book in a video like fellow WWE superstar John Cena did for his book? Huh. Not a bad idea.
It's a good idea.
what if? Okay, pushing it
Oh,
one
God.
farther.
Here we go. I feel like I know what Nick's gonna say.
You ever see Mrs. Doubtfire?
I mean, yeah.
We dress you up.
Not what I thought he was gonna
Oh.
say.
What'd you think I was gonna say?
I thought you were gonna be like, what if you did it as Ronald McDonald? I don't know
Oh.
why, but that's where my mind
That's
went.
even better.
Yeah,
That's
I kind of thought
really
he was
good.
going to go down the route of the.
Mr. Greg's
Yeah.
childhood teachings.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wouldn't be too bad.
I don't know if that
looks,
would
art
sell
looks
the book
fantastic in it.
so much as it
So, yeah.
would make me laugh.
So I want you to know the level of friendship Nick and I have. And of course, it's been well documented as of late. Of course, there was the fantastic Daredevil text that is one of our most
Really
successful
solidified it for
breakout
us.
videos of all time. Fucking A, yes. I want you to know.
Fucking
I want
A.
you to know that Nick is the kind of person who would yell fire in a theater, and I'd be like, "But really?" Like I want to. He can tell me the office on fire. Like, really? Is it? And what I now have evidence of this. As Saturday afternoon, him and I are going back and forth texting about the Portillo book and this, that, and the other. And like we talked about earlier, are we okay with this and this and that?
Yeah.
We're going back and forth, and Ben and I are doing chalk drawings out in the thing. And like we no sooner wrap up the Portillo text, he goes, "Whoa, did you see this about Trump?" And I look at my phone, and I know I could just open Twitter or anything else. Instead of saying, I'm like, is this a joke? Like, are you about to? You see this about Trump? I'm like, no, what? And he's like, oh, you got farts on you. I'm like, ah,
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm serious. I'm like, oh, fuck, that was an unexpected way to move Saturday.
Yeah, that was a different vibe check from us celebrating this amazing accomplishment you had, and then this fucking insane, horrifying event that takes place is pretty wild.
I was streaming and I just had nonstop people coming in after. I was like, I know, I already heard about it. I'm not gonna like stop.
I was at a Portillo's.
That's awesome.
I was eating Portillo's, and then the table next to me started talking about like guns and stuff in a way that made me uncomfortable. I was like, oh man, why are we even in the world? And I was like, I am in a part of SoCal that I've heard a lot of things about. That I'm like, oh shit, it's not like other parts of California. This is kind of interesting. And then I was just like, what? They started saying some things. And I was like, this is weird. And eventually it was just like, yeah, I mean, the shot at Trump. And I was like, this is not going the way I thought it was. And I pull up my phone, go to Twitter, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Look,
This
I mean,
is
it's
crazy.
surreal.
Absolutely.
I mean, it like I was texting back and forth with a lot of my friends, a lot of my family members, and for whatever reason, I was like, this feels like a movie. It feels like the Mark Wahlberg movie Shooter. You know what I mean? Like about any movie about that kind of. I'm pulling right now.
Can you pick a popular movie?
How fucking dare you? First off, that was Kate Mara's best film.
That is such a getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes from this. Like the guy who's only ever watched Mark Wahlberg's Shooter. Reminded me a lot of Shooter from Mark Wahlberg.
First off, you guys are about 2 seconds away from the live chat popping off right now with Shooter Love. Because that movie was fantastic.
Are they?
A marksman living in exile
got a good
is
score.
coaxed back into action after hearing of a plot to kill the president. After being double-crossed for the attempt and on the run, he sets out for the real killer and the truth.
7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Never
Not
heard
bad.
of this movie.
Not bad, really?
Yeah, sorry.
His name is Bob Lee Swagger in the movie. Of
No,
course. I
no.
swear to God, I think if the memory serves correctly.
Bob Lee Swagger is indeed his name.
Because they always have to have three
Michael
names.
Pena plays Nick Memphis.
This
They
was
got Danny
one of the
Glover?
first times I remember
Colonel Isaac
seeing Michael
Johnson.
Pena and being like, this guy's actually pretty good. He should be more shit. And then, of course, now he's everywhere. We love Michael Pena. But
What do you mean one of the first times you've seen him?
this movie's old.
Well, that's 2007. He was in that movie with Nicolas Cage about the Twin Towers where he was a buried firefighter, remember?
Oh, yeah, I definitely mainline that one. I didn't see that movie.
Oh, man. Looks like somebody forgot. You know what I mean? No. Sorry, that was true patriots went to the theater to see it. These colors don't run, Nick.
Somebody forgot.
Fuck. Oh, my God. Yeah, what a wild fucking weekend, man. What a wild thing.
The thing that sucks though is I think Nick, you just said like this doesn't feel real. It's like I hate that this feels the most real thing ever. Like it's just this. None of this surprises me, and it's like yeah, when we get to be a point in our country and in the world where everyone is just so radicalized one way or another, it's like yeah, of course shit like this is gonna happen. Like how could this not happen?
That's really
That
sad.
sucks ass. We should not be doing this. Like no one, no side, no anything. Like you shouldn't be shooting people. Period. Anybody, let alone the situation we're in now. It's like this fucking sucks.
I think it was kind of wild that like the following day, him going golfing.
Was that
kinda
confirmed, though? Because someone was like, we don't know when this was from.
No, it's confirmed. And I thought it was kind of odd as well, feeling the way we all felt. Well, because like my timeline just suddenly kind of switched, and it was no longer all about the shooting.
Mm.
And I was like,
Oh, really? Mine's like,
man,
still-
I was like, well, no, trust me, it is. But like, I guess I just expected this to take over everything for the next several months. But a lot of stuff already had moved on the day after. And it kind of just made me feel the way we generally feel about gun violence in this country, or just violence in general, that we just move on. And of course, I'm not saying that everybody's 100% moved on. I'm not trying to put that out
Sure,
there.
sure, sure.
Like there's still a lot of like anger
But
and
this-
fear and all that stuff. But it felt very similar to like a couple days after a big school shooting or something.
Yeah.
And it's back to business as
It's just
usual.
a thing that happens.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's kind of where we are, huh? It's crazy. Insane.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, this should be like a 9/11 style moment where the entire fucking world stops and goes, whoa, what the fuck's going on? What are we doing?
Yeah.
This is a moment we need to all start, communicating and figuring out what the hell's going on. But yeah,
I think had he died, it would be like that.
I definitely
for
think
sure.
so too. Yeah.
But I think because he survived, it does feel like, all right, what the vice president? You just selected your next vice president. All right, who are you going
Narrative's
against?
already moved on, yeah.
How's Biden gonna fit? Biden's gonna lose. Like it just immediately went back to which like I don't know how I would have expected it to go, but it's just
It felt
wild.
like we would have hung in that moment longer. The 9/11 reference, not doing any Greg jokes, is like very apt. Where like after Nick texted me, and then I looked at it, and then I tried to put it away, and then I was right back to it, and then Jen walked out to say something else. I'm like, do
Hold
you
on.
want?
Yeah, hold on.
Something's happening. Do you want I'm like, it's happening now because you texted me like 2 seconds after it happened. I'm
Yeah,
like,
we were watching-
Do you
yeah.
want this now?
Should I tell you
or-
when we get home?
No, we were already home, so I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
she was cooking. I'm like, do you want me to wait till I have something
Let it
actual
cook,
to
bro.
say, or do you want to know? And she's
Right.
like, what's going on? I'm like, it's not about us, but it's kind of about us. But it's what I mean. It's not the
Yeah.
normal kind of funny fire. There's been a shooting at this Trump rally, and he was rushed off stage, and he was bloodied, and nobody knows what's going on. And so it did feel like I was numb. You know what I mean? And we went down and played at the playground, and there was other parents there, and I saw them check their phones and
Just
get it. We're like, what the?
processing,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like all of a sudden they noticed they
Yeah.
started living it again, and like then and like to your point of like how crazy Twitter was that day, it was just insanity of the conspiracy theories, and then people celebrating with really uncool jokes, and then people really getting into it with each other, and then this, that, and the other. And for me, it was like I got back, and when I saw eventually on my phone, there was like rumor. Trump's gonna go to UFC tonight. That's when I still go to the UFC event tonight. That's when I took off my phone and my watch and I put them in the other room.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
like,
we
I'm
don't-
done. I can't.
don't need to
If
live
that's
in
the
this
reality
reality
we're
world.
in,
Yeah.
I can't deal with this.
Did he
I
ended up
cannot.
going, right? Or no? Did
No,
he
he
end
didn't
up- Okay, good.
But one
So
of the
there's some
guys,
misinformation
one
on
of the
there, yeah,
guys
yeah.
won and said something in the ring about like him or whatever. I don't know.
No.
Shout out to him
Stick
or
to
whatever.
sports.
I mean,
bro.
it's just
Come on.
wild when you think about the JFK stuff. To this day, there's conspiracy theories, and like there wasn't social media then. There was, there was press. There is camera footage. There is pictures. There's all this stuff. Here, it's like there's probably going to be footage of this coming out every day for the next
Today I was-
year, and then of that, how much of it's AI generated? How much of that is
Yeah.
this or that or whatever? It's like, and within 30 minutes of this happening, we already had like 10,000 theories of what could be happening, backed up with evidence, and like that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it was the one today even where I was scrolling and it was some watching the footage and they calling out this woman in a white hat and how she looks over here twice and then doesn't react and does this, and I was like, oh,
No, the one that I saw that was like, the picture, the image that's probably going to be one of the most historic images of our fucking lifetime. Someone was like, the flag wasn't even there. This is fake. And then people below it are like, there's like 5 other pictures of this flag. You can see the flag hanging over them. Like it was there. Like I feel like everyone's predisposition is to try to look for a reason why stuff like this happens. And obviously conspiracy theories are around for a reason. But yeah, it's crazy out there looking at everyone's perspective on this and trying to ascribe either blame or reasoning for why this horrible thing happened. Yeah. So supposedly the flag back there was like, someone's like, that's AI generated. This is all fake. And I'm like, but then there's other pictures where you can see the flag.
that
and
was
it's
AP or whatever.
come on,
I
yeah,
saw the guy talking about it.
What's crazy to
You
me
can
is,
see the dude running into the shot.
dude,
Diving down. It's like,
that was,
Jesus.
I mean, obviously there's lots of stuff to talk about in this, but one of the most shocking things for me was like seeing everyone hitting the ground and all the photographers running in to get the shot. I'm like, oh my God, obviously, look,
I'll take a bullet for this.
it's their job, but that's such an interesting like debate that one might want to have with themselves. I'm like, how much is this photo worth for you? Is it worth catching a bullet for it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, you really think about that though, like, because I obviously was thinking a lot about that when it came to the photographer. But then you even start thinking about these Secret Service people. It's like it's literally your job to throw yourself in front
Yeah,
of another
and they
human
did.
being to take a bullet. Like it's just crazy that's just a thing that
I
we're all
know.
just okay with as a job.
I know. I mean, and we're not disrespecting the Secret Service here. Those guys men and women are very, very brave and do a job that's absolutely essential. But like, yes, you see them huddle around him. You're like, I mean, Reagan's Secret Service agents got shot. Like one of them, I think, was paralyzed for the rest of his life. And so it's like, yeah, this is reality that we're dealing with here. It's crazy.
Yeah. And of course, someone died.
Multiple people died.
Oh, really? I just saw the identification of the firefighter, I
Well,
guess.
there's the person behind them, and then there's also, again, I want to remind everyone the shooter died as well. That
Yeah,
person
of course.
was killed as well. And I think 2 people are in critical condition.
Okay.
right now, so I don't know if they're going to survive or not. But the whole thing is sad.
Yeah.
Like, this did not need to happen. People lost their lives. These people have families, regardless of their political divide. Like, this is just not, in my opinion, this is not something that we should condone. You know what I mean? I mean, because you saw a lot of people out there
I'm with
making
you.
jokes
I'm with
about
you.
it, and I get that, and everyone's processing this the same way, and that's the thing. But I do think, as a, you know, me personally, I'm like, this kind of stuff, this kind of violence, this kind of shit does not belong in our society or in our politics. It erodes the fabric of our law and order, and we should absolutely not allow this to happen. That's my personal take.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, it's probably the tip of the iceberg. It's probably the beginning of it happening more.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll have multiple podcasts about that later as we do the run up to November. But yeah, this is just one of those surreal moments where
It's
you're
like,
watching.
how did you not clear that roof? What?
I'm sure
There
there's going to be
wa-
a lot of crazy stuff coming out of it.
And I was watching a Hassan Piker stream about it, and he was talking about, like, how the fuck do you clear a full city in moments where there's buildings all around people?
That's the problem.
But that situation compared to this situation, where there wasn't many places where you could have a vantage
Yeah, I know.
point.
You look around, you're like, it's like, you know, like grass and then one building. You're like, we should
Yeah,
probably
and
check
that's
that
the
out.
one place that, like, I don't know. I was just
Also,
kind
maybe
of
it was
shocked
in
that,
shorts.
like, that. Yes, it's far, but it's not that far. You know, like, a vantage point was able to be had, and people were able to record and be like, "There's a fucking guy up there with a gun." Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. That's insane that wasn't something that was.
Hence the conspiracy theories, right? People are like, oh, this is obviously the Secret Service needed to be in on it and all that stuff. And of course, it's just theories. These are conspiracy theories. But there's someone somewhere made a mistake, and that's unfortunate. And this was a direct result of that mistake, and it sucks.
Wow, absolutely crazy. Got nothing else to say on it.
Yeah.
Anything else would be just offensive.
Yeah, I mean, this is all brand new. This is all brand new. I mean, that's crazy.
Kevin showing documentation here, approximately 430 feet. The shooter was away.
And what's wild is, like, have you guys seen the alternate angle of the two guys up on the top right roof?
They
Just
they
light
ID him or whatever. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What a fucking world we live in now.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
That's like that's like a little bit more than a football field away, right? Like a football field and a half away.
Well, a football field's 100 yards, right?
Yeah, so it's about 300 feet,
Yeah.
more than 300 feet. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me to think that that's a lot closer than I thought it was, honestly. I never knew the actual distance. I just always saw diagrams and assumed it was way further than that.
Yeah.
That's so close to not have that. Wow.
When you have people with guns that are patrolling and looking for this, that seems very close.
Yeah, I caught a lot of, like, heat on Twitter for being like, for the Secret Service to not be like, get the fuck down. Why are you trying to get a photo
Put your
op and stick
shoes
your
on.
fist up? Like, you don't know if that's the only guy out there. And everybody's like, well, you hear
There was a guy who was like, shooters down.
exactly, but who
And
the fuck knows if that's the only shooter? That's
They didn't know the shooter was there.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I don't know.
Yeah, when I
don't
was
know.
Same people are
Same
confirming
people, we're
shooter.
good.
Yeah. I told the guy, I was like, you don't get a squad wipe notification like in
Yeah,
Call
yeah.
of Duty. Like, just because you killed one guy doesn't mean that that's the only guy. So I was like,
That is true.
it's crazy to me that they, like, allowed him to do that, because there was another moment of him where he's seen on stage being rushed out because apparently there's a rumor there's, like, an open shooter or something, and he's on stage speaking, and they
remember
get his
that,
ass
yeah.
and they drag him the fuck out, and, like,
Yeah.
get my shoes. I mean, you know.
Well,
my list fell out of my shoe.
Yeah, people were debating about that too, because they were talking about how that was like, it's a different vibe, right? Because you can get him 5 feet to safety backstage, where in this, they're like, there was nowhere for him to go.
Yeah.
The shooter couldn't see him within 200 feet of left or right of the stage. So that's why everyone was like, you get on top of him. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know protocol. I think I speak for all of us when I say all we know about
Of
Secret
course
Service
not.
protocol is what we've seen in movies and what we kind of can divine. But
Clint Eastwood let him down.
what's that?
Clint Eastwood let him down.
I mean, Mark Wahlberg would have said no.
Just like he would have, if he was on that plane during 9/11, he would have said it. Didn't Mark Wahlberg,
Mark
also
Wahlberg
say
did
that?
say that. Yeah. Oh, you were doing an In a Line of Fire joke.
Yeah.
My bad.
John Malkovich.
My bad, bro. I left you hanging.
Nah,
there,
it's
dog.
fine. I got
Similar
you.
how you left
familiar
me
with
hanging
your
talking
take.
about Rahul and this fucking PA that he is giving free TV.
Just revenge.
I'm just saying, man. Help him out.
That's a
what's
cool
up?
thing that he does.
Remember, he had a glass
just
gun,
be
a
nice.
plastic gun. I forget what it was.
It was
Wooden
plastic.
gun.
I think it was plastic.
Yeah. John Malkovich, man.
That was a great movie.
That was a great
Rene
movie.
Russo.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
I have no idea what movie they're
In a Line of Fire. He plays an ex-CIA agent that was supposed to...
Secret Service.
He was Secret Service, yeah, and he was supposed to protect Kennedy. He was one of the guys running alongside the car.
supposed to protect who?
Kennedy.
Oh, I heard Canada.
Like he was... Well,
I'm a Secret
By
Service
proxy.
agent
whole
protecting all of Canada. Shit, fuck. It's
Protecting the border.
a big job. One guy.
It's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think much more to say about the Trump stuff. Crazy stuff.
I
Wild world.
saw your tweet about him standing back up or whatever, and it's one of those where to put myself into those shoes or lack thereof, because the shoes.
Yeah.
I kind of I get it. Of like, I obviously we're talking about milliseconds and decisions and all these
Right.
things, but if I got shot, went down with the Secret Service on top of me, right? That adrenaline
You
of
feel
then realizing
adrenaline.
I've just only been shot in the ear.
Yeah.
That thing almost fucking took my head off.
Yep.
Hearing someone say that they're
Shoot her
down,
down.
and
Yeah.
not, and like, again, I'm talking, I know these are nanosecond whatever decisions or whatever, but I could totally see myself, especially.
Fist up. Oh, second shooter, bam, dead. Like,
I hear you. I
but,
understand
yeah,
that. That's the risk you run, but I also feel like I'm fucking God.
all of the
and, like,
call outs of like, he is so content first brained. He is so
yeah,
about like.
he knew this would be the photo.
Oh,
he knew
yeah.
it would be a
Yeah,
T-shirt.
yeah.
He knew it would be a rallying cry.
Yeah, that's I think and I think that just points to more of like how demented he is as a human being, that like his first thought is let's fucking
Make
do
a
this.
headline out of this?
Let's
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
do this, baby.
I feel like obviously there's that perspective, but I do see Greg's perspective too, just being like in the spur of the moment, like that. I mean, you watch that back, and even you have the adrenaline pumping of like, holy shit, this is an insane thing that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump has done a lot of things that I think are disingenuine, but him standing up in that moment, you see a legitimate like fear
Human
and
reaction out
adrenaline,
of him,
human
yeah.
reaction out of him, and it's
Same thing when he
nuts.
winces
I
at
don't
getting
know,
shot in
man.
the ear.
I don't know.
That was the same thing I thought too. Of like, oh, that's actual. He's fucking not a robot there.
That was Glass, right?
No,
supposedly not.
Yeah.
'Cause, like,
Supposedly, people are saying it's a
I feel
teleprompter,
like
but
your whole ear would be blown off if like a bullet whisked it. Like
all I know is people were saying it's teleprompter glass.
That
and
was-
then
but
other
that
people
was-
were saying, hey, you can see the two teleprompters totally intact. So
I
don't know.
believe the teleprompter thing was the Twitter rumor thing going around. I do believe that it was. Again,
so you can see the
we haven't had an
teleprompter right
official
there.
report like locked in. I don't think of
I don't-
everything that's happened,
I don't
but
know. Kevin's showing the teleprompter. I don't know if that was the one that people were talking
and I
about.
mean Kevin,
but
the
you
other
can
one
see it.
Kevin
I think
showed.
that's one of the teleprompters.
Yeah.
Kevin from a while back showed the one of the bullet. Like
That's
this is true.
That's the
Ins-
actual picture of one of the bullets.
That's fucking crazy.
And so that's the thing there of like that's. I mean, we're talking back to JFK magic bullet, right? If it hit
Yeah.
the glass and ricocheted off or whatever, and this
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
But it's so wild that someone had enough time to run to the middle of the stage and take photos and caught a photo of the picture before the Secret Service took out the shooter.
Well, you have to remember these guys are like they're in the press pit. They're sitting there taking pictures of him constantly.
And like there's videos of him running over, and like I heard an interview of him today being like, I know that he was gonna walk off the right side of the stage,
Yeah.
so I knew that I can go and get a good angle from there.
Yeah,
Wild.
you see like I think it was like 3 or 4 photogs like run up and kind of crowd the stage as this whole thing was happening. But that shot right there is, I mean, that's insane. I mean, that's 1 in a million right there. Of just like you talk about, you see him react to something, you just hold that shutter button down, and you get like 1,000 shots just for that
Yeah.
one fast shot of the bullet whizzing by.
I'm trying to get into
Outrageous. Outrageous.
this article because I saw someone in the chat mention this. I think this is the one. Well, it's from yesterday, but what do you mean? I'm logged in. This is the fucking one.
you gotta log in, bro. You gotta pay that subscription.
I do.
War Table Entertainment Gaming says there was an official statement by Secret Service was a bullet that hit him.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
So we can. I don't know if we can confirm. I don't know if we can confirm any of this stuff.
Yeah, this
Again,
is the image.
I
think
know
that people are talking.
we know as much as everyone else out
Yeah.
there knows. It's not like we have any. We're
both-
doing deep research on this stuff.
I think this is the image where people are like both teleprompters are intact. You can see that.
I just thought we
Yeah,
would
yeah, I
have had
see
a
that.
doctor. You know, I mean, when somebody tears their ACL in the NFL, like we.
Oh, you want the telestrator thing?
I
or-
don't know. I thought we'd have like an official thing from like the people that worked on him afterwards.
People that worked on him.
So this is the New York Times talking to Doug Mills, the Time photographer who did all this shooting, right? Or not the shooting, the shooting of the photos we're talking
Photography.
about and all this stuff, right? Blah, blah, he's going on. Members of the Secret Service rushed the stage covering Mr. Trump, and as those around dropped to the ground, Mr. Mills kept clicking the shutter button on his Sony digital camera, which can take 30 frames per second. I could see blood on his face, Mr. Mills told the Times. I kept taking pictures. To what
The
we're
Sony doing 30 frames per second. Crazy.
to what we're talking about earlier,
would've
right?
been
I
better.
like this one. You told
165.
our colleague Victor Mather that you were thinking, "quote I hope I get the right shot. I hope I'm not shot myself." How did you remain so calm? My instincts just jump into my photojournalism DNA. There was a moment. People are diving on the ground, and the Trump staff is yelling, "Doug, get down." I thought, "Oh my God, I could be shot." But I don't know why. I just kept doing my job, trying to report a little history. I am so sorry that somebody else lost their life, an innocent person who just came to the rally to see part of democracy. I'm very thankful the former president was not more seriously injured. How did you? I like this. How did you get this? I'm reading this all for the first time.
Sure.
How did you get this information and your photographs to the Times newsroom? After the former president was put into his SUV and rushed away, members of the Secret Service and the local police were saying, "Hey, all you guys who are in the buffer have got to get out of here. You're walking through a crime scene now," end quote. They took us to a tent that is normally used by the president before he comes on stage. We were ushered in there, and then they closed all the drapes. Members of the staff were very upset. There were a lot of tears. That's when it really hit me. I looked down, and I'm like, I have to start sending pictures.
Yeah.
I use a Sony camera, and I have a Sony transmitting device. I was able to send pictures to the office. Once I sent the first group, I called Jennifer Mosbrucker, one of our editors. Then I took a couple of deep breaths, looked back at my camera, and started going through the pictures. I thought, gosh, I think I may have been taking pictures and videos right when the shots came out. I looked back at those images on my camera, and I called Jen again. And I was like, "Jen, I can see very well with my camera. I can't see very well with my camera, but it's the whole sequence of him speaking and them all of a sudden reaches up to his ear." Then I started getting calls from other editors making sure I was okay. I texted my wife and my daughters. We had little cell phone service right during the rally, but once everybody left, as they cleared the whole area, I started getting a ton of text messages. I kept communicating with the offices. Blah 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 blah. Crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
Oof.
What a age to be alive.
Yep.
It was the usual one too of like as soon as this is like being processed by all of us, the image going around the meme of just like I'm so sick of living through historical events.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, what's wild to me is, I mean, one had hoped that you would never live through something like this again. And I don't know, the last time someone actually took a shot at a president was Reagan, right?
To my knowledge,
And that was when you probably
Someone
weren't alive
threw-
for that. I think I might have been alive for that, but it had to be like, was that late 70s or early 80s?
you about to say someone threw a
Someone
shoe?
threw a shoe at George Bush. Remember that?
I do.
No, wait, hold up. I was listening to
talks
Levitard's
the
show this
shit out of
morning,
that.
and they mentioned that somebody actually threw a grenade at a president that didn't go off
Oh, I don't remember that.
in the last like
That's
20
crazy.
years. I'm gonna look it up.
That's
March
nuts.
30th was 1981 was the Reagan
So I was
assassination or
one-
attempted
March
Reagan
30th. I was
assassination.
1 month, a year old. Yeah,
Yeah, I
a
was
year old.
born yet. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I don't remember it. I don't recall the news coverage on that, but I'm sure it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. That's when he said win one for the Gipper and all that stuff, but he really didn't say it because it was worse than people thought.
We got shot in the lung, right? Or something.
Yeah, it was super bad. He was all
This is April 1993. President Bush visiting Kuwait. Allegedly, there was
I remember this. Yeah, I
involved in
remember.
a plot to kill Bush using a car bomb.
Oh,
The United States sent various personnel to Kuwait. It's something about like the bomb like didn't go off,
Remember
even
when-
though like this wasn't one of those. Oh, we stopped something before it could even happen.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like I
yeah.
feel like it could have happened had it just not. Had
Do you
it
remember
gone
when
off.
George Sr. threw up all over that one diplomat?
the president
Deputy
of
prime
Japan?
minister? Yeah, prime minister. or
Something
something
like that.
He's just
it
got to
was
lean
sad.
over and just
Poor
worked on him.
guy, You know what I mean?
Seafood or food poisoning is a motherfucker. You
You
know what I
hate
mean?
people getting puked on.
I mean,
it's not what you want.
Gross. It was all like
Yeah.
pink and stuff.
You got Ben
and everything.
blown chunks on you quite a bit.
No. Knock on wood. We've done pretty well. Yesterday we did have a moment where he wanted his poop party, where he goes into poop in the bathroom at night right before he goes to bed.
Yeah.
That's what we have to call it. You know,
The poop party?
potty training. You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, hanging out, having
It's
fun.
sick as hell in there, dog. Go in there. It's
I
so
mean, you know,
much
he
fun.
calls mom in every time. But I did sit him down, and he had been in his crib for a second at that point.
Mhm.
And like I put him down, and I looked at him, and I was like, "Did you puke on your shirt?"
Mhm.
And he's like, "No."
He's like,
And I was like, "But it's all." Like he had a pouch before bed, like like a like a little applesauce, but not
Oh, okay.
applesauce pouch. I was like, "Do you puke on your?" And he's like, "No," but I'm like, "It's all wet and it's like colored, like it's got the color of the pouch you just ate." He's like, "No, I was probably doing this," and he went and started spitting on himself. And I was like, "Yeah, but it wouldn't give me, you know what? Whatever. Let's
doing
focus on the
this.
poop party." And then mom came in and said, "What is on your shirt? Do you puke?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then we were like, "Where did you puke?" He's like, "Oh, over out in the living room." We're like, "All right, show us." So we went out there, and it was. I think he just had a little irpy, like, you know what I mean? Just a little one. Nothing crazy. If you ask my expert opinion, he didn't need the pouch. He ate very well at dinner.
Got it.
So I think the pouch was just too much.
I have a correction right here from 2005. 2005, a man describes throwing a grenade at George Bush. This is W. Bush.
W.
A man who admitted throwing a live grenade toward President Bush during a rally in Georgia said in a video broadcast Saturday he aimed to spray shrapnel over the bulletproof glass protecting the U.S. leader. Bush and Georgian President Mikhail Saakashvili were at a podium protected by a bulletproof barrier at a rally.
I like you tried.
In May, when the grenade landed about 100 feet away, it did not explode, and investigators later said it apparently malfunctioned. It was 2005.
That's crazy.
You want to talk about a poop party?
Yeah.
Oh,
Kevin, I just sent something in assets.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you can pull this up. This happened yesterday. We hear this. We're watching X-Files, me and the lady, because now Danielle's addicted to it. We hear bloop, bloop, walk in. Someone had decided to flush apparently some soap upstairs.
So
our
are you
upstairs
making
neighbors.
assumptions here, or like did you get clarification that
We
this
had
is what happened?
well, we freaked out because we're like, what? Why is
What
our
the hell?
toilet fucking haunted like Ghostbusters 2?
If you are a audio listener, this is a photo of Nick's toilet, and there is a tongue of soap suds coming out of it. It looks like the bathtub monster from Ghostbusters.
it looks
2.
like a mimic chest when you open up a mimic chest in Dark Souls, and it ends up having a big tongue sticking out.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And we're watching X Files. We're bloop, bloop, and like a half hour later, Dee goes in, and she didn't have the light on. So it was like she thought it was just like the lid doing something weird. Turn it on, I hear her scream for a second, and then start laughing. And I walk in, and we find this, but it was like that for like like the suds were so dense they weren't popping.
Did you
I
like
had to,
try? Did you scoop it out?
Yeah, I
What'd you
put
do?
some gloves on, I scooped them out, and I put them in the nearby bathtub, which you can see my bathtub right next to it.
So you soaped your neighbors downstairs. The next
I mean,
thing
what am I gonna do?
Straight
I'll
off.
stuff them in a thing. Yeah, pretty much. And I was like, oh, I'll melt this down a little bit. And these suds were so thick that it was like the water was hitting it and like rolling off.
Jesus Christ, what were these people doing?
I
up
have
there?
no idea, but we're gonna
foam
send them a
party.
very interesting worded email probably when I get home today. But we had a plumber come today, and he was like, "Yeah, this is not a plumber." He's like, "It's not backed up because it wasn't flushing.
Oh,
It was just like dense."
Oh no!
And he was like, "Yeah, it probably just dissipated." He's like, "You might want to just let your neighbors know, like, don't flush
Whatever you did.
soap."
Alex
Don't
J.
do that
Sandoval.
again.
Alex J. Sandoval says the toilet toad struck again.
Yep.
You knew they'd
They
come
come
back.
for you at
Man,
Come back with a
really,
vengeance.
COVID really fucked us on that character.
God, we got to bring that
The
back.
toilet toad could have been something that
could've
really
been
went
something.
Remember this,
down.
Andy? Remember this? Meow, meow.
Don't actually. I didn't get enough.
I don't either.
I didn't have enough time to.
signature catchmarphrase.
This is what COVID did to us.
I
It
didn't have
ruined
enough.
the
I
toad.
didn't have enough time to learn the character. You know.
He wore
I
weed
hate the
sunglasses,
picture of Nick as Toilet Toad so much because to this day, I'd say once every 3 months, I get a tweet that just says, "Hey Tim, Toilet Toad," and I don't even remember what the origin was. I think it was an X-Men in review, but
I think
You know,
that.
it was just Nick decided to wear that green screen
with
costume.
the weed.
no, I
glasses,
know
maybe?
that, but like it all started because
Oh,
on
yeah.
some in review, like somehow
was-
the words Toilet Toad came up, and then Greg or Nick, maybe both, the assholes, were like,
There
"Oh,
he is.
tweet, yeah,
There's
tweet
the
at Tim
Toilet
Geddes,
Toad.
yeah." Okay, it was DCEU. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're all welcome for
The
the
toilet
gift that
toad.
is me.
You just try. A lot of people
I'd
come
take
out and they
my shots.
half-ass it. You come out full-ass it.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm proud of you
Full
about
ass
that.
that shit. What's funny is I think isn't that Kevin's green screen costume from when he was Martian Manhunter?
Very possible.
Probably. I don't know how
I
many
mean,
we had.
I
would
think
make
we
sense.
already had it. We used it for when I would like green screen my face onto stuff.
Uh-huh.
On that
Oh, when you
lady
resort
wall.
on.
Yeah.
What a place in time that we see a reply from Chris saying, "Someone get this man some Dobre joggers."
The dope brothers, yeah, dude. They were doing
January
backflips and shit.
31st, 2020.
Crazy,
Right on the
different time.
cusp of everything going to shit.
Yeah.
Insanity.
And that's
hero
where my
we
head was
needed.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You lost your prime, bro.
Oh, I know. It was stolen from me. It was taken from me.
It really was.
God. Sad.
I'm going to go to ad.
Okay.
But when I come back, I want to know and have a conversation about, was it always like this? Is it crazier than usual? Don't answer. We'll talk about that in a second. Right now, I'll remind you, of course, about the Kinda Funny membership. You can nab the Kinda Funny membership over on patreon.com/kindafunny or youtube.com/kindafunnygames. With it, of course, you get all of our shows ad-free, the ability to watch us record these kind of podcasts live as we record them, just like Langley M. Neely is. Of course, he's up in the rafters of a cathedral right now waiting for night to come out so he can go after all the children. You know what I mean? And any people who are
I'm
still in
here.
the street. Have you been gone for all these podcasts?
Oh yeah, you haven't. We're doing that
We're
with Langley
spinning
now.
a whole Slender Man tale about Langley M. Neely because he's lanky.
Oh, right.
He's really tall in real life too. Yeah.
I remember that. That was from an interview. I do remember.
No,
Like a
Langley has
human
said that.
stick bug.
I compared it to gangly, the word gangly, and that's kind of where we
yeah,
went.
That's there too. It's all there. Anyways, and of course you could get the Greg Way vlogs that I do each and every day, even when I kind of forget, and then I have to do them on the way home. But we get them there. It doesn't matter. Anyways, you're not using your membership benefits right now, so here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Harry's. I always hate it when I buy something and then talk to someone else and realize I way overspent and they got it for cheaper. It's happened to all of us, but getting ripped off is no joke, especially when there's razors involved. The people at Harry's were tired of seeing everyday people paying way too much for low quality shaving products. So they found a way to make beautifully designed razors without laughably high prices. You can get better designed and better value grooming products made by a company that forged their own path in the grooming industry. Harry's has been keeping me looking right for years, and you already know I looked so good at my wedding thanks to that very close shave from Harry's. Highest customer satisfaction in the shaving industry. No risk trial. If you don't like your shave, no worries. It's on them. Convenient subscription options that you can cancel at any time, so you can stop getting ripped off. With Harry's, you can get a shave that's a cut above the rest. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/kindafunny. That's harrys.com/kindafunny for a $3 trial set.
Major announcement. I wrote a children's book and you can buy it right now. My first ever children's book, Portillo the Wiener Dog Thinks He's a Manatee, is available as a limited run at kindafunny.com/store. I'm forever grateful to Kinda Funny best friend Josh Strickland for stepping in to help turn my dream into a reality with his amazing original illustrations. To celebrate the book launch, we're also bringing back the Portillo hat and t-shirt along with a fun new crew neck that you can wear while you're reading the book to your kids or pets. Head over to kindafunny.com/store right now and check it out before it disappears. So then, yeah, on the heels of another historic event where the world's just descending into more chaos, was it always like this and we were just children and we didn't know, Tim?
I mean, you're asking me. Like, I feel like there's always been big things. Like, I think I remember being a little kid and Princess Diana dying and how big of a deal that was. Like, I feel like there's always events. I just think that the mediums in which we talk about the events has changed, and with social media and how media is now kind of brought to you by literally anybody and everybody with a phone or even without a phone, just like technology, period. It's like, yeah, there's going to be many more angles and many more opportunities for bad things to be covered. I think that the amount of bad things was probably always happening, but I think the amount we actually hear about
Didn't have eyes
and
on
the
it.
amount that they're celebrated and the amount that they are like, just, I feel like there's just more of everything. And there's a desensitization to it all for sure. And I think that we are living through one of the first eras of that desensitization. You get the fuck what I'm saying.
Desensitivization.
Not coming from movies and stuff, but actually coming from just the reality of life.
It used to be a faucet of news and now it's a fire hose.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know what's real, what's fake.
It's as time goes on and what like media even means. Like when I was in college, going to a whole bunch of different like video production classes and like the history of news and all this stuff, like the focus on the change that 24/7 cable news brought to journalism and just not even just the news angle, but to TV and to advertising and to just how money is made, taking news and turning it into a money-making opportunity, but then also how that changed how the news was created, how talk shows about news were created and all that stuff. That was so fascinating to me. And I felt like oh my God, in the, I don't even know when it was now, but like early 90s, there was that turn of that all starting to happen. And now we're just at a point that like that stuff is like the most outdated shit ever. And it's like they're learning stuff from Twitter, reporting shit live that's being talked about on Twitter and in the moment and all that. And like, it's just incredibly scary where I can't even imagine what the college kids are being taught today, because I feel like it's going to be outdated immediately.
This was the big concern in journalistic circles on Saturday, right? But then even looking backwards, right, where Elon Musk was touting on Sunday, right, the success that Twitter was he was saying that mainstream media is dead, showing all of the headlines about loud pops at this rally. This appears to be the case, yada, 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 because, of course, they hadn't verified their sources, so they didn't know actually what was happening, and nobody had an official report. Meanwhile, Twitter was awash in, it's a conspiracy. No, he didn't get shot by the bullet. It was the glass shattered, and then not even dogging on you or anybody, right? It's just the idea that you see that, and everything's crazy, so you think that is what happened, and then you walk away from it thinking that is what it is, and it wasn't that, but you never know because nobody waited to get the real story and read the whole fucking
Word
thing.
of the people.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's probably details we're getting wrong right now, right?
Oh,
As
we've
they're
already
still coming
gotten
out
stuff
right
wrong.
now,
Yeah.
But that was I mean, Tim's hit the nail right on the head, right? There's always been things happening in the world, and there's always been like scary and crazy things happening in the world. But I think you're just hearing about them so much more now because so many more people can talk about them given technology. I always think about this in terms of like comedians, right? How you always get people who are like, you can't say anything on stage anymore without getting canceled or whatever. And nobody ever read the history of any comics in the 70s or 80s or 50s or 60s, going all the way back to like Lenny Bruce getting arrested for saying things on in conservative areas, or then like Andrew Dice Clay being protested and canceled in the 80s. It's always been the same thing. We're just repeating history over and over again, largely because we refuse to actually learn anything from it. But yeah, I mean, in our lifetime, think about the crazy things we've seen, right?
Well, that's the thing, right?
I don't think it was always like this in a sense that I think the Trump presidency definitely awakened a part of the country that finally felt represented and wanted to be represented, but just never felt okay with coming out in that way. And I think it's just gotten worse and worse. And it's wild being on Twitter nowadays because like I feel like people used to be a lot more worried about just saying slurs, and it's just not a thing anymore. Like granted. There's still, even back in the day, you were still throwing a random racist thing, and you'd be like, holy shit, this dude just said that. That's crazy that you would say that. But like, there was never this much like
brazenness to it,
a brazen sort of boldness to it that like that I feel woke up a part of the country that maybe necessarily didn't care about voting for Mitt Romney back in the day, and they're just like, that's just it's whatever. And look, of course, I'm not going to act like there was a large portion in terms of like the KKK being the most extreme out there doing abysmal, abominable things, but that always felt a lot more like kind of
in the shadows and kind of marginalized. In the shadow, over there,
and I think I definitely think social media has made things a lot worse because I think a lot of people feel like this is an opportunity to be loud and kind of make a name for yourself and
find others that are like you.
Everyone just wants and that's kind of what social media is, like find like-minded individuals, and that's been great for the country. That's been really bad for the country, and I don't think that I think if the 2016 election was Hillary against some random other person and the whole country was like, this fucking reality TV show guy's trying to run for president, no way, that's insane. Like, I think if Hillary was just running against random Republican, then, you always see the random memes of people going back to seeing Obama and Mitt Romney shaking hands like, we used to be so much more respectful and stuff like
John
that.
McCain shutting down the one woman who was calling Obama a bunch of stuff.
Right. And now it just seems like, I mean, Trump essentially won in 2016 because he awakened a large part of people that never had felt represented, and we're like, finally, finally. It's not only normal Republicans that were going to vote for the Republican, but now the people like me who wasn't going to vote for moderate Mitt Romney or whatever, like now my voice is being heard, and that's only kind of emboldened other people to be, when I think of like people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and stuff like that, and who's the one congressman or senator being like, Joe Biden made the order. Like, what are we doing, man? What are we fucking doing? It's insane, man. Like, and I know I sound like such a lefty talking about this, but it's just like when I look at left Twitter being like, man, we want universal health care, I fucking don't want people to be racist. I don't want people to be transphobic. And we just want you all over there to like be cool with us wanting you to have universal health care and shit like that. And then it's yelling, and it's like, guys, don't you understand that they like this the Project 2025 stuff is like all the anti-abortion, all of the stuff that will be taken away from poor people like you. Like, they're not on your side, man. They're not with you. They're not with you. They are, sort of bringing out the hate in you, and to say like, hey, look at them over there. They're trying to take shit from you.
Yeah.
And it just like, it just feels helpless. It really
100%.
does feel helpless in a lot of ways. And it's hard. It's so easy to lose hope, because I don't know if there's an easy way out of this unless one of these extreme people on the right is finally like, hey, you know what? I take it back. Like, that was kind of crazy, all the stuff that we were saying. Like, what if we just were like the normal conservatives where we're still trying to take shit away from poor people, but like in a nicer way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, that's the thing with Trump, right? Is that Trump? There's no illusions. There's no like he's not like politicians on throughout history have always been sort of like, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, and they always have ulterior motives. But Trump's the first politician in my lifetime who's just like, none of that matters. The facade's gone. I'm just going to say whatever the hell I want to say, and it emboldens everyone in some weird sort of. It makes them more confident to do what they want to say, and then you see that now mirrored.
We're gonna round up the Mexicans, like all that stuff's like.
It's kind of weird. It's just
I mean, that's
it's
not
really
true,
scary.
right? Like he's like, oh, we're gonna build a wall. They didn't build the wall,
They
Oh,
built a
we're gonna
portion of
make
the wall.
Mexico pay for it. Well, they built part of a wall, and
Yeah.
we paid for it.
Well, I mean,
Well, I
they
just
don't-
mean like
they-
it's
yeah.
a bit. You see
But they don't
that,
care about lives.
yeah,
Like they
yeah,
just.
that's-
Which is outrageous.
That's
I
what
can't
I'm
believe
trying to
it.
bring attention.
Yeah.
to.
and it doesn't really help too that like Twitter's just become such a cesspool for just absolutely zero moderation for any of that stuff, right? And like even Elon Musk coming out and being like, I'm now endorsing President Donald Trump like hours after this whole thing went down. It's just there just doesn't seem.
He said
to be
he was
any,
never going to donate to anybody.
Yeah, well, yeah, quote unquote. When he took
Yeah.
over Twitter, he was like, "I'm doing this to make everything like to even the playing
Free
field and make
speech.
everything free speech." And now it's like, no, I'm obviously endorsing this.
Well, it all
candidate.
serves itself, though. I mean, going back to what I was saying about the 24/7 cable stuff, of just like, I mean, look at it where it's at now. It's like, yeah, like Elon, who owns Twitter, supporting Trump, who is a media gold mine. Anything he does or says is going to result in everything. And if the story is being broken on Twitter and like the real journalists of media aren't able to keep up with it because they're trying to get their sources correct and all that stuff. Whereas like literally Elon's like, that shit does not matter. It's the voice of the people. It's the story of the people. Well, the story of the people is on Twitter, and it's going to make a lot of fucking money because that's how it works. So of course it all just feeds itself.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. But we've been there for a long time. But like we're now there in a way where the masks off thing. It's like it's just mask off in the most ridiculous way. Where we're now past it just being like, oh, we're in the building. It's like the building's taken over, and it's like there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. It's like there's the only way out of this is a new era, and I don't think we can even comprehend what that looks like because we don't have the technology. We don't even know what that could look like, but I think it's going to require, and this sounds like such a lazy thing to say, but it's real, generations potentially of people dying off and new people rising up and seeing what the world turns into. I think that's the only way through this. Like, and that I remember back in the early days of Game Over Craigie talking about it, like, oh, the old people are going to die off and the young people need to come in. I feel like what's happened in the last couple of years has put us back so much that like, we'll see. How long are we going to make it? I don't know.
100%. And uplifting.
Fun
Funny
stuff.
podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just, I don't know.
What can you
There's,
do?
I wish I could spin it positively. I wish I could say whatever. I wish I did whatever. I don't have hope that, this goes well in any way, shape, or form. I think it will get worse before anything ever gets better.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can say is the same sort of thing that we always say, right? Which is that we have to practice what we preach, which we do.
course.
Be better to each other, share ideas with each other, try to build the world that we want to see out there, and try to fight, anything that we disagree with logic and compassion and intellect and things that actually make sense in the real world, and not listen to things that your brain tells you don't make sense, but your heart says, let's go with this. Maybe let's all just make sure we take a step back and try to get the proper information for things, and really think through the decisions that we're making politically as we go out there and vote, and whether or not that's actually going to help our society or lead us down a darker path. That's the only thing I can always say is that, you know, I'm a pretty progressive guy. We got to stay positive. We can't give up. We just got to keep pushing for the world that we want to see out there and rectify that against the reality that it is.
Yeah. Well said, Nick. And I think obviously we talked about it at the top. I think there's far more to say about the election in 2024, which we will continue to do and talk about here. But, you know, we're out of time for today. And today you can just wallow in exactly what we've been talking about. Of he was shot on Saturday. And now on Monday, it's all about J.D. Vance being his running mate or whatever. And it's like, all right. And then you look at these quotes from J.D. Vance calling him fucking Hitler. You're like, oh
Calling him
God.
Hitler several years ago. And he will never be the president.
I mean, the important thing, just going back to, you know, a joke that I feel I need to make because
Please.
I'm me and I can't let a good comment that you made 15 minutes ago go by without me earmarking it and then saying it at the least opportune time. You said, I don't know what we're out there teaching young students now. And obviously we've learned that you can, in fact, come in the shower if you want to.
Amen.
And that's important.
Amen.
That's important.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of the Kind of Funny podcast for your listening and viewing pleasure. Of course, if you like what you saw and you heard, go get that Kind of Funny membership either on patreon.com/kindafunny or youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Of course, you get all the shows ad-free, the ability to watch us record podcasts like this in the afternoon. And of course, you could get Greg Way when I record it, which I will do now, and send to Cool Greg, and we'll have a good time about it. Of course, lots of great content coming up this week. It's Tuesday, maybe when you're seeing this publicly. Remember, me and Mike are doing the big Mizzou, Colorado tailgate. Bought a lot of stuff for Paint Can. I'm excited. Got your bagel for your bagel
I've never had
burger.
Paint Can.
You weren't on that show, or did you not work here at the time? No, you
Nah,
worked here.
I don't think I had it though.
Oh, no, it's when
You're
we-
about to get destroyed. It's
It was our first episode ever in the old studio.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have
Oh.
been here yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking crazy. All right.
I'm excited to try it.
It'll be good. And maybe you'll wake up somewhere.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, until
Maybe
next
a nice
time,
shower.
it's been our pleasure to serve you.